Hello, my love. So today I want to talk to you about some decks that I use to connect with some ancestors, specifically close family. And in my case, I'm talking about my father and my mother because they already left this physical plane a while ago, actually. And because we are in the holiday season, close to Christmas, I think it's a moment that maybe some of you want to have this connection with the beloved one as well. So I thought that it would be interesting to share my experience, and maybe you can find decks to do the same, or I don't know, something can be useful here. So I would like to start by saying that I don't like the idea of calling the dead. I don't do that. Well, I already followed a religion where we would have this kind of practice, so I don't see any problems with that. But over the years, I came to realize, I started thinking, okay, I'm here living this life. It's not a vacation, right? And then I started thinking, these people, they did what they came here to do in this existence, then they leave, and then I'll be calling them. Especially to give me solutions that I am supposed to find. And another thing, something that is important to think, like, I believe in reincarnation. So maybe they already reincarnated, we never know. But even if they reincarnated, so, well, there's several levels of the soul and a whole discussion that we can have another day, but all that energy and aspects of that soul, those souls, they are around, they are available. Yes, they are, right? But more than that, in my opinion, it's very important to keep in mind that each person and everybody that crossed our lives, they're going to leave an impression inside of us and a representation, believe it or not, right? And of all those people, the most important and strong representation, they are our parents. That's why it's important to understand our relationship with our parents, because that's a very strong impression inside of us here. And sometimes you'll see me talking about in other videos and so on about healing relationships. Sometimes healing relationship is healing a relationship, you and the other person. But more often than not, healing a relationship is about healing the relationship with the representation inside of you. So you're not going to, even if you had a relationship with somebody that was harmful, that was not nice, even a father or a mother, you're not going to force yourself into a relationship, into being around that person. But it is about looking at the representation and the relationship you have with the representation inside you. So I have a representation of my parents, and of course, they gave me so many lessons during their lifetime. They taught me so many things, especially by example. They were much more, especially my father and my mother, but especially my father, he was much more about example. So he would not be preaching, he would do things. And that's very powerful. And I think that using these decks, it helps me to access that wisdom that they left already inside of me. And it helps me, yes, to, sometimes I use the term connect or communicate. It's much more connect with that aspect of their souls that are maybe available to give me this inspiration, right? So let's talk about it. I will start by sharing with you, there are 2 oracle decks and 1 tarot deck. The first one is this oracle deck here. It is the Oracle of the Roses by, I'm not going to pronounce her name, Caroline Darcy by Rockpool. This deck, guys, I saw this deck online. I saw pictures. I never watched a video about this deck. I saw pictures and then I said, oh my God, I need the deck. I didn't know why. I just had the feeling that I needed the deck. Doesn't matter what. Then I went to sleep, and guys, I had the craziest dreams with this deck, but not that the dream was crazy, but it was everywhere, like, like that psychedelic stuff. It was crazy. Then I never watched a video about this deck. I had a dream, and it was the only time that something like this happened to me. I mean, the dream, yes. I'm going to link a video here about how to know if a deck is meant to you. I mentioned the dream there, and I have this thing with decks. So I was having that crazy dreams, and I woke up in the middle of the night. I don't remember what time it was, around 3, something like that. And I did something I've never done before or after that. It's the only deck that I did that. I opened my phone. I went to Amazon and bought the deck in the middle of the night. I've never done that in my life with anything. I never opened my phone and just buy something in the middle of the night. But it was, I woke up and I was like, pah, I bought. And the next day when I woke up, I was like, what? What did I do? Why, right? When I got the deck here, and then I opened the deck, I saw, oh, there are archetypes. I don't need another archetype deck depicting archetypes. I don't need that. So here, the Advocate, for example, was like, why did I buy them? Why? What am I going to do with you? And I looked, gorgeous. The deck's gorgeous, but like, I don't need it. What am I going to do with you? Am I going to send you back? I don't know, right? But then, don't ask me how I came to realize that this deck was my mom's deck. And I was like, whoa, how's that? Let's see. And I started pulling cards, and it was my mom. It was like my mom's voice talking to me, right? Giving me inspiration, giving me information. So I knew it was my mom's deck. And then after that, I think it's kind of natural. I was like, okay, this is mom's deck. Maybe a dad's deck should come to my collection. And then I started feeling that strongly. Now, that's important to mention. My mom used to love roses. My father did as well. But my mom, she loved roses, guys. I don't know. It's some things that things just fall into its place. It's hard to explain. But my father was a birds kind of person. He loved birds. He really loved birds. And then I thought maybe a bird's deck. And then I started looking. I remember I started searching birds oracle decks. And then came a few decks. And the first, came a few decks. And I saw this deck and I was like 100% sure that this one would be the deck for my father. Now, I was kind of thinking this deck was a little expensive for what it was. I even looked another cheaper decks with birds, but it was not calling the same way. So I said, okay, let's do it. It is a deck that has been bending even though I don't shuffle the deck. It's the only deck that I have that it happens like this, because I already shared with you, because usually when decks bends because people shuffle, riffle shuffle, and don't bridge. Not the case, but that's okay. Because these decks, they are always exposed on my altar here. And I bought this deck. And yes, since the first second, okay, Dad. Okay, I gotcha. Understood what you're trying to tell me. It's my father from the beginning to the end. And then they do read beautifully together, right? They look nice together. They look vintage. They look like something that is old, both of them. Here we even have this kind of, I don't know, distress in the image. How is that called, guys? But here the image itself looks like something that is old, right? I'm here thinking maybe one day my brother, because my brother passed away as well. Maybe one day I'll have a deck for him. Still didn't show up. And then because I had these two oracle decks, I came to realize that the tarot Mucha would be the tarot to work with these two decks. Tarot Mucha, one day I was with my husband, I think 2017. we were at our bookstore, local bookstore, and then I saw this deck and I was like, oh, I can't believe it. It reminds me of oh my gosh, it reminds me of my dad so much. And then he was like, oh, really? So let's buy it. And he bought it for me. The tarot muja, well, my father, he would travel to Europe and he would bring mujas. I think it's say muja, baby. Baby, I think because I was thinking about my husband. I think you say muja. If it's not, sorry guys, but I would say muja. And I remember back then my father, he would travel to Europe and he would bring some posters, some mujas posters. And it was actually for my sister because I was a young kid, but my sister, she was a teenager. So he would bring those posters. We would have the posters she would have in her bedroom. We would have it some areas in the house. So I don't know. I just remember my dad when I see these images so much. And then I said, oh, do you want to come to this conversation? Yes. It is the tarot. Reminds me of my dad, but it is my mom's voice as well. Even though my mom's voice would be her... Hi guys, I'm looking at the deck. It's mythological tarot, the classic tarot, you know. So I have her deck as well here. And then I have these decks, these 3 decks, they are always on my altar. So I have the tarot in the middle, my father's deck in the left, which is the masculine, right, the left, and my mom's deck in the right, which is the feminine. And then I don't do it every day. I don't draw from these cards every day. I don't draw from these cards weekly. It's only when I feel like. Then I have a conversation with them. So overall these years, the first time I really had a tarot talk, I call tarot talk, having a conversation with the deck. With this tarot here, I had a tarot talk with my parents. The first time was this year now in the, we say Dia de Finados, Halloween, Dia de los Muertos. It was like a half hour, even more, half hour, 40 minutes conversation, and it was enlightening. So I think that these decks, there are opportunities, as I tell you, to access their wisdom that is inside of me, because that connection is going to be here forever. Those souls, these souls, they don't cross our path. It's not just a coincidence. There's a reason. That's what I believe. So that's what I would tell you. Think about a relative that you feel like you want to connect with. Of course, you don't need specific decks. You can use your usual and beloved Rider-Waite-Smith. Look what came here, Ace of Cups, guys. Right? You can use your deck. But if you feel like you want to have a specific deck, start thinking a little bit like what she really loved, what he really loved. Maybe you are going to find out decks that are going to be that person from the beginning to the end. You're going to say, oh my God, that's deck so, well, it's so my dad, it's so my mom, it's so my brother, it's so my sister, grandmother, uncle, whoever you want to connect with and access the wisdom inside yourself, because as souls, we are just one vessel, right? Souls, we are really just one together. We are here living this experience, and that's why we are not here to find differences. We are here to find unity, because in the end of the day, we are just one vessel. So we are one with these people as well. And they left specific marks, and they left specific, you know, like footprints inside us. And we can access that. We can learn from that. We can feel them. We'll always miss them. We'll always miss the ones that loved us and that we loved. But I see in these beautiful decks an opportunity. Like I already told you, do I need decks to do my work or spiritual, personal and professional work? Absolutely not. But I want to. I choose to have them in my life. because they are beautiful, because they inspire me, because they are, well, think about it. I don't know if you have a 60 cards deck, you have 60 masterpieces in your hand. 60 beautiful artwork, examples of something really meaningful. And they are going to ignite something inside you. And this deck ignites my father's presence. And this deck ignites my mom's presence. And this deck ignites both presence. Okay? Hope this deck brings you a little bit of comfort. I don't know, I just felt like saying this word. Comfort, a little bit of inspiration about using some decks to find your beloved one that is not here anymore inside you. Because in the end of the day, they're not here, but they are. We know that. Thank you so much for being here, my beloved soul. I'd like to see your thoughts in the comments down below. And I'll see you in the next video. Lots of love.